as you can see, I've already cut out several different pieces of the different patterns. I've also relabeled them, face 1, face 2, mouth 1, to match the actual directions of the face mask. As you can see, I've taken the time to pre-pin both the cheek 1, cheek 2, and the inside mouth 1 and mouth 2. Now I'm going to chain sew them together. All right, you can see that I have all 4 cut or like sewn together. I'm gonna go ahead and cut them apart. My next step is to sew along the curve on the 1/4" seam line of both pieces. And I'm gonna chain sew those as well. Now the only part I'm not going to sew together are these 2 pieces here, cheek 1 and cheek 2. These are going to go on at a different moment. Okay, now we have the 1/4" seams sewn onto all of the edges. So the next step is going to be to tack them down. Now, as you can see here, it really matters where you do this. And the pattern suggests like going in about 1 inch or so. The most important part is that it matches up with your seam edges. So we're going to be doing the sewing along the top. So just make sure you secure that together with your pin before you sew. And then you should be able to do both sides very quickly. And you can double check. It should be about 1 inch in. If you need to adjust, adjust. Just so they match again at the edges. And now we sew. A little closer to the edge. There we go. Now the other side. Oh, came unthreaded. Got to pause for a rethread. All right, there we go. Trim your threads. And now you can see we've made a pocket. That's where they'll be able to insert the filter from either side. The last step is going to be, there we go, matching up right sides together. And you can see that when you look at this, there's a slight curve where it's a little steeper up here. That's for the nose. This one has the same part. It's a little steeper. And so we want to make sure that as we open these up to pin them together, that we put the right sides touching, and that should be our first pin right here. And I don't know if it matters if you pin it like this or if you open it up. It's kind of my preference to open them up so that the seam is a little flat. But go ahead and pin all the way around. Pin here, pin all the way around. And then we'll sew it up. Okay, as you can see, I have it pinned together all the way around, top and bottom. And we're gonna go ahead and connect this. And remember, we have our slots here, so that's how we're gonna turn it so that the right sides will be out at the end. I'm going to start at the corner because that's my preference, and I'm going to use the edge of the foot as my guide, starting with the back stitch all the way around, taking out your pins as you go. Making sure your seam goes in smooth. Pulling out your pins. And doing a pivot. All right, let's take it off and take a look at it. All right, seams look good all the way around, nothing missed. The coolest part is turning it inside out and bringing out those edges. And then you can see the completed mask. Take time to point out your corners. Fiddle with it a little bit till it looks correct. All right, now this is the mask that the Cedar Rapids hospitals are asking for us to create, and they're asking for us to not put in elastic at this time. But if you were going to put in elastic before we sewed all the way around, you would just put in either a ponytail holder right in this area or a strap of elastic that went on the inside, and then sew it right into the seam line. And then when you turn it inside out, that would leave the elastics on the outside.